that social media has created a whole group of people that you older folks have never heard of, but have millions of viewers to tell the story of something called the Hacksmith. Welcome, Riley Martin, everybody.
Woo!
Riley, Riley man. It's crazy. This now, how old are you? You're 18, right?
I'm 18. Yeah.
And you're an engineering student, and so you're obviously interested in how things work. And just talk to us a little bit about how you discovered this channel, the Hacksmith. It was back in 2017. At the time you came upon it, it had, I think, what'd you say, less than 1 million subscribers?
Yeah, it was around, I think I was watching them at about 700,000 subscribers, and I got involved with them around 900,000 subscribers.
So when you first were drawn to it, what was it? Did you just did you stumble upon it, or were you seeking it?
Yeah, I watched a bunch of maker channels, they're called, where people just invent cool things. They do do-it-yourself projects and all sorts of stuff. So ever since I was like maybe 13, 14, I was using YouTube, and I was interested in these maker channels, and eventually somewhere along that line, I ended up on the looking at the Hacksmith channel. And the first draw that I saw there was they were making a exoskeleton to bicep curl, I think it was 300 pounds, just like a rack of cinder blocks, and they were just doing that. And then they did a squat bicep, and you could squat the back end of a DeLorean.
And this is where's tie in the superhero stuff, the comic stuff? Is that what it was that they're trying? What was the reason the channel existed? I thought it was to make things from the movies.
Yeah. So the reason the channel exists is because James, the creator, that's just what he wants to do. But our main draw, our main series is called Make It Real. So what we do on Make It Real is we'll watch a movie, we'll play some video games, we'll read comic books, and then from there we can see, oh hey, I like this thing out of this comic, let's make it happen. So we have things like Captain America's electromagnet's shield, where the back of the shield is just smooth, and you have an electromagnet bracer. So somebody throws you the shield, and you just click, and boom, and it's attached to your arm. And that was out of Captain America Civil War, maybe?
So the idea is that people that are interested in those things get to see you guys make it real.
Yes.
What was the episode I saw where somebody was flying around on a jetpack? That thing actually existed already, though, didn't it?
Yes. So that's another inventor by the name of Richard Browning. He's from the UK, and he invented a 1,000 horsepower jet suit, which I got to go see last month in Georgia when James, my boss, got to try to learn how to fly it. It's really, really challenging to fly. But he's basically got 2 jets on each arm, then 1 jet on his back, and it's absolutely insane.
No, it looks amazing.
There's nothing that can replicate standing in front of it and just getting this wave of hot air, and he's like 10 feet from me.
You ever seen those things that they use? I don't even know what they're called, but they're jet-powered water crafts where the guy's up in the... You ever seen that where it's being held, but it's the propulsion of the water? It's almost like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the source is completely self-contained, because those you're strapped to a jet ski. The jet ski's using a pump going up and then shooting water
But this self-contained thing, that looked amazing.
So what's the safety measure there? Like, how high would you go? Like, it's one, as I said earlier in the show, it's one thing to develop it, it's another thing to use it.
So most of the time they fly over water.
Okay.
Last weekend they were at Gloucestershire docks in, I think it's the UK. And one of their guys just dumped into the water, and no injuries at all, but the suit gets pretty mangled.
How high would he have gone, though?
It looked like from the footage they were doing 20, 30 feet.
Oh, okay.
The highest that
within reason, yeah.
Yeah, the highest that I've been told they've gone was about 80 feet, and technically you could go up to like 6,000.
But the real story is that this channel, like a lot of things, as I mentioned, when I first started, when your dad told me about it, I'm like, what could it have? How much could this really have garnered? And then you look at I'm looking at your channel, 6.2 million subscribers. You came in when there was 900,000, and this kid, the guy that you're working for, you said he was 28.
Yeah, he's 28.
What's his name? John.
James Hobson.
And so this is his living.
This is his. Yeah. So we actually, the company has 9 full-time employees.
Wow.
So there's actually there's a degree of sustainability. We've been working out of James's backyard. He's got a 50 by 25 garage, and we've had 9 employees working in there full time, and that is not enough space. So we've actually upgraded to leasing a 13,000 square foot facility that we're moving into this summer. So the business is it's a sustainable business. It's actually going
And
well.
the business is YouTube.
The business
That
is
is the
YouTube.
business.
Yes.
And explain
Wow.
to the folks that YouTube views turn into dollars how?
Okay, so YouTube views turn into dollars with YouTube's AdSense program. So when you watch a YouTube video, you get that advertisement right before the video where it's like, whatever. GM gives you an ad for that, right? And then there's one that pops up in the middle of the video, and then one pops up at the end of the video. So we get a certain amount of money for every 1,000 views that we get. At some whatever YouTube's rate is, it
Sure.
changes by the day.
So it says here this latest one, the Hacksmith compilation number 3 was put up. It's on your the landing page here, but it says 1.8 million people viewed that video.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier. You think about Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, Amanda. Those shows are getting a couple million or less. I think Fallon is barely cracking 1 million. So I mean, it's like a full on television production. That's what those 9 people are doing.
yeah,
Editing, shooting.
it becomes a lot of work. It's really hard. We put out a video a week, and the video ranges from anywhere from like 8 minutes to a 25-minute episode. And so it feels
It's like a television
it's
show.
basically producing a television show.
Yeah.
There's a lot involved, and since we do real functioning prototypes, you have to make something that you can engineer and you can design it and build it and make it
Which
and then
costs
test
money.
it.
Yeah.
It does cost money, and it takes time, and that's
But do you have producers, or you are the producers? It's all in-house, like it's
all in-house. Yeah.
So the money that you get is strictly from the YouTube subscribing and that kind of ad space.
No, so there's 2 streams of revenue. So there's YouTube advertisements, which is just built into YouTube. They just pay us when we get a certain amount of views. And then there's sponsorships. So a specific company will come to us. They'll say, hey, we want you to make a project based on this product that we have. So we had a LG. They made a laser projector. And we were working on a spy car project at the time, like James Bond style. And LG came to us. They said, here, we're going to give you a laser projector and, whatever amount of money. And then we built it into our project, and it was like a dedicated video. So that's a sponsorship.
Amazing.
So 70% of the money comes from those sponsorships, and then like 30% or something like that comes from advertisements on
And you know
YouTube.
what I love about this? I mean, you talk about the barrier to entry. Again, the old guy talking here. It used to be, you had to have a television station which was licensed by the government, and then even these specialty channels all had to go through the CRTC and all this. You can literally open up tomorrow, and if you have an idea,
Yeah.
Yep.
you're getting, again, more viewers than a lot of these
Same
licensed.
as what's happened with radio. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's a DIY economy.
Well, you
honestly.
think about the Raptors were getting a couple million views, couple million viewers of a basketball game.
Yeah.
2.2, 2.3 million. Hockey Night in Canada getting a couple million. And Riley Martin's, jetpack video
And the hoop-
is getting the same as the Raptors.
and all the hoops they have to jump through that today's young producer entrepreneur doesn't. It's great.
And you were just a kid, so you're watching this YouTube channel, and you sent this James guy a note saying, hey, I really love your stuff. I'd like to volunteer because you have an interest in engineering.
Yeah, so the specifics was I watched their channel, and then I saw that they're in Kitchener. I'm like, hey, that's like 45 minutes away. That's not even that far. I wonder if they have a volunteer form. So I looked through their website, and I scanned through, and I found this little volunteer form, and I filled it out. And at the time, I was very pessimistic. I was just like, whatever. Like, I'll put it in, and, if I never
Sure.
get a
What are
response,
the chances?
who cares, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had 900,000 subscribers at the time. I'm like, oh, they must be, rolling in the dough. Like, they don't need help from me. Turns out they weren't, and they did need help from me. So I ended up volunteering for almost an entire year, where I'd go in once, twice a week, and I would just help with stuff, do welding projects, and just random jobs, making shelves, like just
Sure.
anything to just be involved, just help the guys out. And then the February of the following year, I graduated from high school a semester early, and at some point around December, I had actually become friends with James. Him and I were buddies, and we played video games together. And I said, hey, James, I'm graduating in February, and I bugged him about this every week. I said, I'm graduating in February. You want to give me a job? And I think it took maybe 3 weeks, and then he came back. He was like, yeah, I had a meeting with Ian, who is the co-owner of Hacksmith, and he said, oh, yeah, you got a job. Like, see you in February. When do you start? I'm like, okay, cool.
Good
so
for
that's kind of how it started off.
And now you're obviously an equity partner in the company because you've helped increase it by millions of viewers. And
I wouldn't overcredit myself. Hopefully
let's
this
not
summer
do
I can do that.
I'm
But
just kidding.
Well, we like to overcredit.
okay, that's fine. I'll take credit.
We're
I
going
like-
in the Hall of Fame. You know.
Yeah, we're going to
Oh,
the
yeah?
Broadcast Hall of Fame in the Cancer Builder
The Cancer
category.
Ward of the
Cancer
Hall of Fame.
Ward of
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame.
Apparently,
Overcredit is good.
they're gonna name the cancer ward after Humble Fred.
Hey, hey, young fella, you got to learn to overcredit.
That's right. Stick around here. We'll show you what that's all about. Here's somebody saying, "Go Riley! Your friends in FL are watching." That's somebody. We're on Twitch TV. Maybe you've heard of it.
He's been
I
watching
have.
it over
Oh,
there.
I
We
was
have
watching it
340 viewers. Yeah, I'm 340 followers. We're pretty big. The Hacksmith is what the channel is called, and it's pretty cool. I've watched a couple of videos. It's well produced. It's very entertaining content. Maybe you guys could hacksmith your dad's golf swing. Huh?
Ooh,
Oh,
we could.
Little zippity doodle on the Al man.
I could attach a rocket
Now,
to his
is your
golf.
Your dad, Al, fancies himself a bit of a humorist. Now, is he funny around the household, or is he just basically, keep his head down and do everything your mother says?
Oh, definitely not that.
No?
No, he doesn't keep his head down.
Oh, yeah?
He's,
Really?
He stands up for himself.
Yeah.
He's maybe he's not the funniest person around the house, but I know he's listening right now.
Oh, no,
I
know.
guarantee that
he's
he's
not
listening.
even the funniest person around the house we're in. I've seen him. He's out there. He's pitching it, though. He likes to fancy himself as a humorist. But I'll tell you, he's very funny.
Oh, he is funny.
He's very funny.
Oh, okay. You're leaving the impression that maybe he's
I'm
not.
making it seem he's not.
All right.
He's very funny.
Al, you're very funny.
Just go with it. Well, there you have it. The YouTube channel is called The Hacksmith, and join the over 6.2 million subscribers. What is the most views of a video that you've hosted?
Most that I've hosted would have been on the Blitz Shield, and that was around 3.6 million views.
wow.
How about that?
That was it was a riot shield made of metal, and it had a LED panel on the
Yeah,
front.
I saw that one. That was really
Yes,
cool.
about 160,000 lumens. If you stare directly at the sun on a bright day at noon, you're looking at 100,000.
Wow.
So it was brighter than the sun.
Okay, would you?
It was brighter than the sun. He made this thing.
It was fun.
Would you know what it would cost for that production,
From
from beginning to end, to put that production together, or is that?
beginning to end, it would be. So the material cost is actually, surprisingly, most of the time, it is the lowest cost of everything. You can make a project in a day, but it takes a week to video edit it. So what ends up happening is you'll spend maybe $1,000 to $2,000 on making a project, but then just paying the people to video
Get it
edit
ready.
Sure. Oh,
is
yeah.
a week of wages. So it's like
because
know.
they're well shot, they're well edited. It's
Yeah.
got that YouTube style. It's
So a
very
production
very
team for that
production
week.
Yeah.
heavy.
The cost of that.
yeah,
Well,
the
I can tell
production
you.
of videos.
But still, what would that be? Like 10 grand? Or I don't even know.
Something in that
Yeah.
nature would be
In the
mine.
in
Yeah.
the neighborhood of somewhere between 5 and 10 grand
Yeah,
for a
but for that
like
many
a normal
views.
size project.
And, and the thing is, it's like no subsidies or anything. If it hits,
Yeah.
you're successful. If it doesn't, you've lost money and go away, right?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so things like sponsorships kind of give us a safety net where but sponsorships are also based on views.
Absolutely.
But we have somewhat of a good idea of what is going to get views after you can look through 500 videos, you can
Right.
categorize everything, and you can say, oh, if we make a video and the title is wrong, we could just get no views.
Yeah.
The thumbnail is wrong, like when you look at a
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
video. you
But I
have
was
the
going to say,
little thumbnail.
with this many subscribers, with what did I say? You have with 6.2 million subscribers. Even an average video, you guys know going in that as soon as you hit send or a broadcast, your subscribers are notified, and some percentage will just watch it.
So, interestingly enough, YouTube subscribers don't mean as much as they used to. If you ring the bell, there's a little bell notification thing right next to the subscribe button.
Okay.
That's the only way to get notifications. So if you
Oh,
just
I see.
subscribe to a channel, there's just a higher chance it's going to show up. So, actually, what ends up happening on most videos is that 60 to 70% of the views on that video are not subscribers. There's just people. So of 6.2 million subscribers, we get, I think, usually 10% of them watch most of our videos.
Well, Well,
10,
still
10
pretty
to
good.
15%.
That's very
Because
interesting.
You know that you're going to throw something up and it's going to have a base
Still a
of
number.
Yeah,
600,000.
yeah.
Riley on you can find him on Instagram at @hackin_goodtime and at the Hacksmith. Thanks for coming in and good luck to you.
Thanks for having me.